Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Riot Games have answered us. For those who don't know, solo queue has been a very hot topic. Voyboy made a video, I made a video, people made a video for the views, but also because it's important. Solo queue has been very problematic and it's getting worse and worse. And we're at a point in time where people are running and down in games and they're not getting banned. They're just not getting banned, and it is something that invokes more trolling, and people just don't care about the games they queue up for. It's very often, very frequently that people just give up games, and a lot of games are decided way before they are theoretically decided, just because of people's mindsets and what people are doing in game, and this goes unpunished. Bippo said a very good thing that, every time we queue up, there should be a disclaimer that you are agreeing to try your absolute best when you're queuing up for this game. And I think, it was a good idea from Bippo. Nevertheless, we jump into Riot's quick LOL thoughts. Wow, quick LOL thoughts. I think this deserves more than just quick thoughts, but I hope it's just a name. Game ruining behavior. This week we talk about game ruining behavior and our next steps to address it. Ooh. Hi folks. This week I figured it would be good to focus on inting AFK. You think? Okay. Given it's been a topic of quite a lot of conversation recently. It's also something we should be talking about more, since it's an ongoing pain point for many players. Deliberate game ruining behavior is something we need to prioritize addressing more. In the near future, we'll improve how report feedback works and introduce reporting in Champion Select. In the moderate term, we'll test more responsive detection of deliberate inting pseudo-AFKing. We're still considering steps after that, but the plan is to keep working on this longer term. We'll keep you updated each month on how internal progress and tests being run in specific regions are going. Okay, sounds exciting. I'll nibble. Let's continue, the long version. First off, let's define exactly what we're talking about. And that's kind of difficult, Defining game-ruining behavior is kind of difficult, and it's part of the problem. But, okay. This is about players deliberately ruining the game for others, making it very difficult and impossible for the team to win. It's not about people who are genuinely trying and having a bad game or series of games even. Sometimes someone gets absolutely crushed in lane and dies over and over again. That's very different to a player deciding the game's over and then spending their time trolling others instead of trying to win. Okay. The sort of behavior we're looking at here involves things like deliberately dying while pretending to try, running around taking CS from others but then deliberately avoiding teamfights, objectives, etc. It's not as easy to detect as straight AFKing or constant inting. It still ruins the games though. It happens at all levels of play, though tends to be more common with players who've been playing for a while and generally understand how to avoid getting banned by our existing AFK and obvious inting detection. Streamers often get targeted for this sort of trolling due to their higher profile. It's not an issue unique to streamers though. Okay, so here's where our heads are at. First off, this is an area we need to prioritize work in more than we have recently. You already said this. We haven't done enough here relative current player pain these behaviors are causing. We're working right now to figure out which people we can pull off other projects to work on this instead. Okay, that's cool. COVID-19 causes a lot of hassle, and I think we can approach this with a bit of understanding. I just want there to be, I just want the issue to be addressed. I don't mind if the solution comes later or now. I just want there to be a clear, communication process. I want it to be obvious to us what is being done to improve things. Second, solutions here need to be really targeted at these specific issues. Other behavior influencing work is valuable too, whether that's things like honor or the social recognition systems, features with social impact like Clash, etc. They're not a replacement for taking action on this sort of game-ruining behavior that needs to be addressed regardless. Okay, that's pretty general. Yes, it is. So what actual changes are we planning? So far we read a lot, but we got nothing. So this is where the juice should be. I'm hoping for a reinvigoration in the solo queue ladder. My dream changes would be monitoring high elo solo queue, that disclaimer that Whippo talked about, higher reasons of motivation for the ladder, making it prestigious again through cash prizes or some prizes or some, trip to the Riot Games office where you will get a medal from the president of Riot Games himself or something. Just make it prestigious, make it Make it epic, make an event with the rank 1 player from every region where they play a 1v1 tournament or something, or make a tournament with the top 50. Just make it prestigious somehow, make it exciting to be high rank again in these regions that lack prestige, like North America specifically, right? The North American ladder is just you are playing in hopes to become a streamer, so you troll on streamers' streams because that's the biggest aspiration for you, which is sad, which is very sad. And I think, the reason I am so pushing for this idea, because I think, a lot of the streamers that we have here in the West are from North America, playing on a North American server, and if they are motivated and they have incentives to be try-harding and doing the best, this is going to also trickle down within the community. And then I want the monitoring part because, it's just too difficult to detect in an automated way who's trolling and not trolling at the highest level. Nevertheless, this discussion later. We jump into what Riot has given us. Right now, improving report feedback. Let me just nibble on this water. We've just started trialing improvements to how our report and notification systems work. For now, those are live on NA only. If this test goes well, we'll roll them out worldwide in a couple of weeks. Those should result in a significant increase in the number of punishments being surfaced. It is Riot is telling us that their system actually works, and just because we don't see it working, that's why. I don't know about this. It's... take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm taking everything what Riot says with a grain of salt, because I just don't know what to believe. I don't know how to interpret everything. I'm kind of upset about the Soyka situation, so obviously I am very, very critical of what's given to us here. One component of that is that changes to how punishment notifications are generated. Previously, you'd be only notified that a user you'd reported had been punished if that punishment was triggered immediately after the game you were reporting them and the punishment was for the specific category you'd reported them in. The actual punishment system, however, looks at players' games over time and aggregates reports from different categories together. As a result, notifications were substantially lower than actual punishments. The revised notification system, by contrast, will notify you if a user was punished regardless of a category of reports, and will do so if the player gets punished after any of the next dozen or so games. Sure, it's a slight improvement, but it doesn't address the issue. It's like you are giving the flawed system more visibility. Okay, it will be nice to see that your reports are actually having some kind of effect. That's cool, but still doesn't address the issue at hand. Let's continue in hopes for things to improve. Short-term champion select reporting and muting. Whoa. Disruptive behavior in champion select is a problem that players have very few ways to deal with. Whoa, you wanted to nerf the one way we had to deal with it, which was dodging. Starting around late Q2, we're going to give you the ability to report disruptive players in Champ Select. I've been playing this game for 10 years, and I've been held hostage for these 10 years. I don't understand why it took you so long. Once again, I'm a bit bitter, but I don't understand why it's been taking so long to put this into place. It just feels like it's such an obvious issue that players have complained about since forever. So this is crazy to me. First, these reports will be used to establish a data foundation for champ select behavior. Okay. Then once we've got enough data to identify to identify different types of behavior accurately, we'll deploy a punishment system. Okay, well, it doesn't address the bigger issue, but it's, it's a small improvement. Cool. Moderate term. After the above changes, we want to go back and re-examine our previous stance on rapid automated detection of players who are trying to lose a game. We've been very cautious about it historically due to the risk of falsely identifying and therefore punishing a player who isn't actually trolling. Avoiding unjust temp bans is important to offer a good player experience. Having said that, so is controlling deliberate trolling, self-sabotage, etc. In retrospect, we may have prioritized avoiding one type of player paying too much at the expense of another type, so want to look at our options here again. One thing that would be helpful as a part of that is understanding where your heads are at as LoL players. What is an acceptable rate of incorrect bans if it results in a noticeable drop in deliberate inting FKing? Is it worth accidentally giving a 2-week ban to one player who was genuinely trying if that means 19 trolls also get banned? What if the ban is undeserved? 1 to 100 times? 1 to 1000 times? Are incorrect bans never acceptable at all? Honestly, I will happily sacrifice myself. I will sacrifice myself for a 2-week ban if 19 trolls also get banned. I am ready to make that choice. I think it's worth it because 19 trolls can ruin a hell of a lot of games. And if your automated system is detecting that, if your automated system bans a guy, then probably there was a reason for it. It's not like I can have a perfect game. I'm 16-0. I didn't write a single thing in chat. I carried the game and then I get banned randomly. That's not going to happen. It's someone that is close to that, He's close. He's in that area, in that gray zone, Maybe he went 0-16. He had a rough game. Maybe, he gets a ban. I think that's okay. Maybe he needs a break from the game. That's all right. It's not going to be like the most innocent people. There's going to be like people that are partially deserving of a ban. So I think that's all right. Of course, it's a moral question, but it isn't at that level where the innocent person is going to get banned. It's not going to be someone that is completely innocent, if you get what I mean. It's not like trading one life for 19 lives flat, It is a question of behavior, right? So 1 to 100 times, 1 to 1000, I'm willing to go with the 119. I'm willing to sacrifice myself, but of course it's a moral dilemma and I'm not here to discuss philosophy. Longer term to be determined. Beyond that, we're still assessing which approaches to investigate next. We plan on doing more work in this space than just what was listed above. Once we've got some of those projects shipped, we'll update you folks on how things are going within a month. I'm going to be honest, this is a nothing burger. This is all right, I don't want to be too negative, that this is happening, cool. Report feedback, cool. I think this is going to help lower ranks a lot because in order for me to int an iron game, me dying level 1, 2, 3 is not enough. I gotta continue dying because the level there is so trash that it will be so blatantly obvious that I'm running it down that the system will automatically detect me. And then the higher you get, the more difficult it is for an automated system to detect it. In the highest level of play, I can screw over my top laner by ganking and going into the turret, fucking up a dive intentionally, and then the game is over because of that. That can happen. The level of trolling becomes harder and harder for a system to detect the higher we are in ranks. That is the key point why I want high-level games to be monitored. Because an automated system is going to have a hard time detecting who is trolling and who's not. It is super, super difficult. In lower ranks, this is great. Rapid detection, false positive trade-off. I think depending on rank, you need to kind of, scale the system differently, You have to scale the system differently. But as I mentioned, if I'm in Iron and I want to lose, it will be more and more obvious than me wanting to lose in Diamond or higher ranks. It's going to be more obvious. And that's why we need high elo games to be monitored. So to me, this is not enough. I still want some tournaments, some competitions in place in order to restore, the perceived value of some of the regions that are terrible. I don't know if there are people out there that can set up tournaments on ladders in terms of, I think there are many ways to make, the ladder more exciting because right now it's just a number and having rank 1 in North America is very little to brag about in comparison to, for example, Korea. And of course, Korea doesn't need these competitions because their perceived value is higher. And I think you need to do this in order to pump up the perceived value of North American solo queue and other also Western solo queues because I think China and Korea is in a good place. Still, This is not going to address the high elo problem. These were fine changes, but still, I think high elo solo queue is going to be quite terrible still, especially in North America. It needs to be monitored. I like Whipple's idea, making sure that everyone understands the commitment they're making when they queue up for a game. I think that's super cool too. I don't think this is enough. This doesn't make me that happy, I'm going to be honest. And I understand that it's very difficult due to COVID-19. Riot Games has 2,500 employees. Maybe it's too little. Maybe it's too little. 2,500 for such a large company. But this is what's only public, you know, considering they have multiple games they're working on and so forth. 2,500 seems very small. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what scale you operate on, and I don't know how you have to, you know, increase in scale and so forth. I really don't know. So I don't want to run into that conversation. But yeah, it is harder because of COVID-19. I'm happy a conversation has started. These are baby steps, I think, in the right direction. Things that already should have been there, honestly. This is painfully obvious to me. This is obvious. And this is just adjusting the system that's already in place. It's not really like... This is not the solution. This is not the solution. I think this is just... the effect of this will be that the perception will be that maybe something is going to change, but I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. I want the changes that I mentioned. High elo solo queue needs to be monitored. There's no way around it. I just don't see it. I think an automated system will be too difficult to set up, you know. I think on lower ranks it works, but the higher you get, the more difficult it is. What do you guys think? Give me your feedback. I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah. It's not easy. Right? It's not easy. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Maybe you guys are excited by this. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this. Maybe I'm too bitter. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but it's very difficult. You know, we are getting promised a lot, and then like they release like big systems like Eternals when there are flaws within the game. And I think the League of Legends community has been very patient and very loving of the game, and I think the League of Legends community deserves the absolute best. And as a player myself, I am very passionate about the game, and so are we. So we just want to be happy playing it, you know, because we don't want to be pushed to that point where we have to stop, you know, because it's just no longer good for our well-being. We are all in love with the game, so to speak, and we want to continue on that path. So I think as a community, we deserve more. We deserve way more. I'm releasing my AMA on Sunday. It's finally with hot sauce, so squeeze in your final questions there on the YamatoCannon subreddit or the Discord. You can also, of course, you know, jump in on the Patreon as well. And yeah, I don't know how to end the video, so I'm just going to press the record button. Arrivederci. Ciao.